Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Thanks for being with us on JJ and Alex. Big weekend for the Utah Mammoth. Couple big wins. Boy, they needed both of them, too. And you saw so many guys getting involved. You see a lot of dudes flying around the ice. And yesterday when they were down 3-0 against Pittsburgh, it was tempting to throw in the towel there, at least from the viewer standpoint.
Again, right?
You get into the third period and you're down 3-0. You go, maybe they'll get one or two back. They got two back in, 18 seconds. And then you go, oh, now it's on. And to see some of these guys stepping up in these moments to come back from a 3-0 deficit and then to get it evened up at 4 and then to win in overtime on that awesome shot by Dylan Gunther, man. It was just, the whole thing was cool. And for once, it was them scoring early in overtime versus the alternative, which they've seen, which is a team comes back, has all the momentum. And I thought that fourth goal by Pittsburgh, maybe they would have woken up a little bit. And, man, it's a couple good wins in a row over the weekend for the Mammoth. And joining us on the program, Cole Bagley on the show here with us. Let's kick off the show as we always do with the cut.
It's time to talk hockey with the Utah Mammoth and NHL insider on KSLSports.com. Cole Bagley on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yeah, the cut top of the hour, of course, always brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith brand of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. And Cole Bagley joins us on behalf of our great sponsors, the folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union. Growing stronger together. Hey, Cole, what's going on, man? That was a fun weekend of hockey if you're a Mammoth fan.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. I don't know that the overall product was amazing, but the fact that they picked up 2 wins and that they were able to, put together an incredible comeback effort last night in Pittsburgh, they've got 4 points and they're keeping their head above water. So it was a good weekend for the Mammoth.
A 3-0 deficit in the third period. For people that are unfamiliar with hockey, how difficult is it to overcome that? What's a comp in another sport?
Yeah, a comp in another sport is probably like 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns, but it's not like they were down by 7.
Right,
3 goals obviously is not insurmountable, and the message from the coaching staff going into that third period was, let's get on the board. Let's get a quick one on the board. They've been leaving a lot of room in front of the net open. There's a lot of loose change, as Andre Tourney put it, and they scored exactly the way that the coaching staff had outlined them to do so. Got on the board really fast, and then it snowballed. The biggest thing for Utah yesterday was this had happened to the Penguins less than 24 hours previous.
Oh.
They blew a 5-1 lead to the San Jose Sharks in the third period just the day before, and it had happened two times. The 2 previous games, they had blown third period leads. So this last week for the Penguins has been brutal, and Utah knew that, hey, if we can get on the board, they're going to start second guessing themselves. That maybe a little bit of PTSD from the last few games is going to start to seep into their minds, and that's exactly what happened. So kudos to the Mammoth staff and the players for taking advantage of the situation and fighting through adversity.
One thing, Cole, you brought that up, is that's actually that's one of those things that at some point it becomes a little bit habitual. And I think Mammoth fans saw some kind of bad traits in some of these games where they were playing tough sometimes and not playing very tough other times. And you said overall the product hasn't been great. What do you think the thing is that's lacking right now with this team? We've talked about effort before. Do you think that the effort has kind of returned and it's just maybe some of the strategy and a little bit of the converting of, the power play still is a problem, but it seems like they've gotten a little bit better over the last few games. But what is it that you see that overall needs to still improve with this team?
I think it's still a maturity issue. With talking with some of the guys and people around the league, I still think the fact that a lot of Utah's best players are fairly young and they're still figuring things out in terms of consistency. And it obviously doesn't help when a guy like Logan Cooley goes down, who's such a big part of their offense, a big part of their power play. But things are trending better, right? Like they've scored, I think 4 or 5 power play goals over the last 2 weeks or so, and so they're starting to figure things out. The puck is kind of starting to bounce their way, and I think most importantly, there's certain players that are starting, really starting to step up, and arguably the player that stepped up the most is Dylan Guenther. He's scored, I think, 4 or 5 goals in the last 3 or 4 games. He leads the NHL in game-winning goals going back to last season. I think he's tied with Leon Draisaitl. Anytime you're tied with a player like that, you're doing something right, and you're the elite of the elite. So, yeah, I mean, there's still issues, but there's always going to be issues. And if you're a Mammoth fan that's frustrated, just remember you could be a Pittsburgh Penguins fan right now. They just lost 4 straight games after leading in the third period, so it could always be worse.
That's brutal. Well, you mentioned Dylan Guenther, and I want to go a little deeper on him because you mentioned how, he's obviously a great talent, and you expect great talent to just perform and make things happen, but he's been especially clutch. What is it about him that allows him to step up in these big moments besides just the skill and the talent?
Yeah, I asked Sean Dursey and Coach Bear about it yesterday, and they kind of narrowed it down to 2 things. First of all, Dylan believes that those types of shots are going to go in. Bear recalls when Guenther scored the golden goal for Team Canada at the World Juniors a couple years ago, and he scores the goal, and it's the game winner, it's the gold medal winner, and his teammates are jumping on him against the boards, and Dylan's just it's business, it's another day at the office for me. And so I think and that is what separates some of the best, is they expect those types of things to happen. But the other thing too, and this, Dursey kind of highlighted this, is that he is so hungry to continue to get better. Dursey pointed out that Guenther's always working on his shot, and whether it's in practice or in games, if he misses even the smallest window, he's frustrated with himself, and he wants to continue to get better. And so I think when you combine those things, when you combine confidence and belief, as well as just a workaholic mindset, a workhorse mindset, it's going to result in elite play, and that's what we're seeing right now from Dylan Guenther.
Cole, as the rest of the schedule looms here for this team just in the short term before the end of the year, obviously the Logan Cooley news is tough, and we were trying to do the math on it, and I was like, you know what, you're probably not going to see this guy till post-Olympics if that's the time frame. And if that's the case, you just have to resign yourself to getting it done with what you have. One of your young superstars not being a part of it. Injuries are a part of the game. You'll hear that. You'll hear Bear tell us that all the time. But what does this team have to do walking up to the new year here to kind of get them ready for the next half of the season, and as they start to get toward that Olympic break?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just keeping their heads above water. I think trying to win 50% of the games right now, especially because to finish out the calendar year, they're playing some of the best teams in the NHL in Boston and Detroit and New Jersey, and they have to play Colorado, who I think has only lost twice in regulation. But then you get into January and the schedule starts to soften up a little bit. You're going to see Columbus, you're going to see Toronto, you're going to see Seattle again, and Nashville, and some teams that just aren't playing overly well, Ottawa. And so if they can get to, if they can get through these next 4 or 5 weeks, and make sure that they, like I said, they just need to keep their heads above water. They just need to stay relevant and remain within about 2 or 3 points of the playoff, of those wild card spots. Because let's be honest, Utah is not going to claim one of the top 3 spots in the division with how well, Colorado and Dallas and Minnesota are playing, especially now that Minnesota has acquired Quinn Hughes from Vancouver. This division is just unforgiving. But if Utah can, just continue to fight, like you said, work with what they have and remain within a couple points of those 2 wild card spots, Cooley should be back after the Olympic break. They set a minimum of 8 weeks. That puts him right at when the NHL takes their 3-week break. So he's going to have about 11 total weeks, to nurse his injury and to come back. And if they can just stay relevant, they can get him back, and we'll see what happens as they approach the trade deadline. Utah, could still put themselves in a position to really push for a playoff spot down the stretch.
You're out on the road with Mammoth right now. You had a chance to go to Pittsburgh. You're going to head to Boston now. But what's the experience like in Pittsburgh? There's a lot of history there, especially with all the cups they've won and the incredible players they've had. I think you've mentioned you've grown up a Penguins fan. What was the experience like there in Pittsburgh for fans who haven't had a chance?
Yeah, Pittsburgh is an underrated city, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm biased. I grew up a Penguins fan, but I had never been to Pittsburgh until last year. And I came out here last year. Obviously, was there last night, and Pittsburgh's just a really cool town. It has kind of like a European feel to it. There's a lot of really cool things to do out there. There's cool architecture. Obviously, you have the Three Rivers and the bridges. There's some really cool museums that are out there as well. But the arena itself, what's refreshing and what's really cool about, I think, Pittsburgh fans in general, not just Penguins but Steelers and Pirates, is they love their teams. Arguably, to an extreme. But when I jumped on the plane to go out to Pittsburgh from Salt Lake, I think I counted like 15 or 16 people who were wearing some sort of Steelers or Pirates or Penguins gear. Like that's just how the city of Pittsburgh is. They're ride or die, and that's what makes the arena just a really cool experience. And they're very kind. They're very welcoming. I had some friends and family that have come out to the games the last 2 years, and the Penguins fans have been just so gracious to them, welcoming them and congratulating them when the Mammoth scored and congratulating them, after the wins and stuff like that. So, in my opinion, Pittsburgh is definitely a must for any fans who are considering, hitting the road and traveling. Pittsburgh is an underrated city with a lot of cool things to do. And, it's outside of, kind of those original 6 teams, I'd say that Pittsburgh has a really special in-arena experience.
Cole, as you kind of hit the road here, what are these teams like the rest of this week here as the Mammoth face all these Eastern teams, some early games that they're going to have to figure out? But always going out east, it's a tough road trip, but it feels like a little different on the NHL level. It seems like the guys kind of get up for all of these games, regardless of if they're, at Boston Garden or whatever it might be. So what does the next handful of games here look like for this Mammoth team, especially this week as they're out east?
Yeah, it's a tough road trip. Picking up 2 points last night against Pittsburgh was a big deal. Yeah, I mean, any road trip in the NHL, you're just looking to go 500. And so if Utah can steal another one of these 2 or even just get a point, that's mission accomplished. Detroit is playing really good hockey right now. They're second in the Atlantic. Boston as well. They're in the second wild card position. So these are Eastern Conference playoff teams that Utah is going to be facing, and then of course they do come home and they'll play New Jersey and Winnipeg before one more game before Christmas in Colorado. But yeah, it's for Utah, they just need to continue to do what they've done over the last 2 games, really over the last 3 games. That's helped them find success is playing with more urgency, playing with more confidence, more energy, getting bodies to the net. I think that's been the biggest difference for Utah over this last week. They kind of changed, not necessarily their play style, but they changed their approach a little bit beginning against Florida on Wednesday last week. And, they gave the Panthers a run for their money, and it was because they were just way more assertive in the offensive zone. They were harder on the forecheck. They were putting bodies in front of the net. They were screening the goaltender. They were getting him to move back and forth. And that's what they did against Seattle, and that's what they were able to do last night against Pittsburgh in the comeback. And so, playing more of that gritty style hockey will serve them well. And like I said, if they can get another point or 2 over these next 2 games, that would be really big for the Mammoth.
Cole Bagley, he's covering this Utah Mammoth team. He's out on the road and taking in all these. It's rough work. I know it's right before the holidays, man.
Oh, it's painful.
Just going out to some of these historic venues and watching some hockey and covering this team. Not that it's a dream of yours or anything. So have fun out there, and we're going to be watching all these games. High interest, of course, to see how this team can recover some of those points or at least try to crawl back into that Wild, Stars, and Avalanche. Because, look, being down with the Blackhawks, Jets, Blues, and Preds right now, that's not a good place to be. I know they're the top of those teams, but you got to get these wins. And they've had more games than anybody, too. So,
got to stay above that black line.
We're looking forward to it, man. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, too. I never thought I would leave Utah in December and go to 2 or 3 places colder than Utah.
Yep.
And, I mean, I've got family members golfing back in Utah, and it's 9 degrees in Boston right now. So enjoy that warm weather.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Thank you, Cole Bagley. There you go. Cole, he's our Mammoth Insider for KSLSports.com. Yeah, somebody showed. Did you see that? I mean, they're in Cleveland, so it's already hard to watch a game anyway. But they showed one of the Cleveland fans. Did you see him in the crowd? They opened up an RC Cola, first of all. Hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And so they bust out an RC Cola, and it immediately
the Browns-Bears game?
Yes, and it immediately froze.
Yeah.
And they start pouring it just as slush into the cup, and you go, well, that's one version of being able to play a football game and that stuff.
Our winters here aren't so bad
compared to that. And by the way, I was one of those Utahns golfing this weekend.
Good for you.
I mean,
it's beautiful right now. We get temperatures in the 50s in December.
It was sunny. I don't know what to tell you.
Fantastic.
I know. So
he mentioned the Columbus Blue Jackets. First time I think the Columbus Blue Jackets have ever been mentioned on JJ and Alex. Is there a more irrelevant pro sports franchise in North America than the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Are they bad too? On top of it,
can you name one player?
Oh no.
Now or ever that has played for that team?
No, the thing that they have going for them is they have that cool.
I'm sure you could.
They have that cool Confederate cannon that they shoot off when they score goals. It's pretty cool.
It's a Confederate cannon?
I mean, sorry, Union cannon.
Right.
Those soldiers are up there, and they got the blue jackets on. Obviously they're blue jackets, so they're not gray jackets. You can't roll into town wearing gray and doing a Civil War reenactment. No. Yeah, you got to be wearing the blue. But yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about the Blue Jackets. Couldn't tell you anything about them. But you know what? They're probably saying the same thing about Utah, right?
Well, I mean,
are they bad? Are they bad too?
The Mammoth have been around for 2 years. The Columbus Blue Jackets have been around for 2 decades, and I can't tell you what they've accomplished.
Well, they're dead last right now in the East, so there's that.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll come back. We got to get out to a break here. Before we do, just want to remind you that when we come back, we're going to be doing our locals in the NFL segment. By the way, massive weekend for the locals in the NFL, and tons to get to. That's always fun to do. So JJ's going to give us the update on that, plus some of the other things that happen in the NFL. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, you know what that music means? Of course, it's our NFL Blitz on the program. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome back to the program. Hey, every week you can nominate a youth sports volunteer that does an amazing job. They don't have to be coaches. They don't even have to be, we prefer like the volunteers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
How about, you know what we haven't had yet is a referee.
I would love to see a referee.
I would love to see a ref get nominated because they are putting up with it, man.
Yep.
So if you have somebody, a team mom, an assistant coach, somebody in the neighborhood of yours that's doing an awesome job as a youth sports volunteer, nominate them for the Hercules Hero of the Week award. Just go to KSLSports.com/contest. Every Thursday afternoon, we read off a winner, and they get a prize courtesy of the folks at Hercules Credit Union and also Beehive Meals, both of which are sponsors of this great program. Okay. JJ, locals in the NFL. Man, it just seems like every week we're naming this off. Every week we're finding moments where players are doing an awesome job that have some sort of a connection to the state of Utah. And here we are again, maybe the best week of all year. I don't know. It was a pretty darn good one, man.
Well, as far as getting into the end zone, that can't be topped. Last week was incredible. I think we had 7 locals in the NFL that got in the end zone one way or another, either throwing a ball, running a ball, or catching a ball. But this week was interesting because there was a lot of great defensive play. You remember Kyle Van Noy, if you watched the game, the Ravens playing the Bengals. The Bengals were driving down to the goal line, trying to forge a comeback. Down 17-0 at that point. A touchdown in that moment would have got them back in the game.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, Joe Burrow throws a pass, and guess who intercepts it? It's just sitting there in the zone.
KVN, man.
Is Kyle Van Noy, KVN. And instead of just running it out or taking a knee, he had the wherewithal to hand the ball off to one of the safeties that was back there with him, Alohi Gilman, who, by the way,
How about that Utah to Utah connection, man?
He spent a year at Orem High School. He's from Kahuku. His younger brother played at Utah. But he took the ball and took it for a pick six, 84 yards. And
Is it a pick six? Somebody else picked. He just sixed, right?
Well, it was picked, and it was sixed. It's a pick six.
The INT goes to KVN.
Yep.
The random defensive touchdown goes to Gilman.
Pretty cool.
Awesome.
They shared the touchdown, I guess you could say. It was great teamwork. It was a heads-up play by KVN.
It was
incredible football IQ to make that play. He didn't have at this point in his career.
Oh, the wheels aren't there. Wheels aren't there.
He's not going to be able to make it 84 yards, but Gilman certainly can and did. And so that was one of the best plays of the week in all of the NFL. So it was awesome to see Kyle Van Noy play a role in that.
That takes something. First of all, one of the crazy things about Kyle Van Noy was that his career was the closing speed. I mean, he was all over the field. And same thing in the beginning part of his NFL career. And you're right, he's a very specific dude now. He's one of the most savvy veteran linebackers in the game.
Really smart player.
Second go around at the Ravens, where he's there. They know him. He knows what's going on. And the guy who can go, there's no way that I could take this to the house and just hand it off to his. That's a guy who's
a lot of other players probably would have had so much pride to think they could. And he made the smart, unselfish, team thinking play, and it was one of the best of the weekend.
How about did Puka have a pretty decent weekend?
Oh my gosh, Puka. Okay, like Puka is
every week, man.
Top 3 receivers in the NFL. Can you name 2 receivers that are better? Question mark. Can you? Maybe you just by numbers you say Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is Justin Jefferson better than Puka right now? Amon-Ra St. Brown. Based on stats,
these are all. By the way, these are all first team All Pro guys.
These are the best of the best,
yeah.
And Puka can make a case that he is the best receiver in the National Football League. When you combine his blocking ability, his route running,
how hard it is to take him down,
he plays like a tight end, but he's a deep threat. It's just crazy to see his progression and how getting to the league seems to have unlocked something with him. Now, we knew in high school he was a freak. He's the best, in my opinion. He might be the best overall high school football player the state's ever seen. You can certainly make that case. And then he gets to BYU after a year at Washington and has some great moments, but the injuries always prevented him from becoming an All-American.
You remember?
Or a legendary status at BYU. He is now. I think what he's doing in the NFL is enhancing our view of what he was in college.
JJ, you remember, I think you were – so I was here the night that it happened. For some reason, I was doing some other work, and then I was like, oh, Puka's going to make his announcement on the air tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that whole deal?
Happened on KSL.
And I was standing off to the side just kind of watching.
Yeah.
And, there's a part of me that he throws up the Washington colors. I was like, go Dogs,
Yeah.
Mom was not happy. You remember how mad his mom was?
She was very upset. He broke her heart that night, but
got her wish.
Eventually, her 2 sons ended up playing together at BYU.
Yeah, it's worked out. It's
all good now. Puka's mother is incredible, and she's awesome.
I'm waiting
Been through a lot, and to have these boys be successful is just a tribute to her.
It's crazy. First of all, Jackson Dart, he had a really nice game, I thought. Decent-ish game.
Yeah. But he plays for the Giants.
So the Giants, they come up short against the Commanders. It's just going to be the rest like that for the rest of the year. I just hope he stays healthy and he just keeps. Got to keep logging those hours, man.
63 yards rushing on Sunday.
Don't need it.
He's playing with fire, man. But that's what Jackson does. This is the new quarterback. This is the dual threat. The guy. And we're seeing it in the NFL. A lot of these guys, that grew up playing in spread offenses. This is what they do. So now you're seeing more of it in the NFL. And Jackson Dart's not going to reinvent himself. He's not going to go pro style. He runs spread. He's great in the RPO. Let him cook. But there is risk, and he certainly toes that line.
Was that catch, that sliding catch that was wild in the back of the end zone, was that the Hawes kid?
No.
It wasn't?
No.
I thought maybe it was.
He did have a catch for 9 yards, though.
So
Dalton Kincaid had 3 catches, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
man, that was about as good of a game that we've seen all season long. That comeback by the Bills.
Patriots game was fun.
And by the way, the Bills may have. I mean, that I'm not going to say it saved their season, but it
kept them alive.
It turned a corner for them too. I think in an attitude, and it's kind of crazy.
Let me say this as a Broncos fan. Now that the Chiefs are done, do you know what team I feel is the biggest threat?
You think it's the Bills?
Oh, 100%.
Really?
That team has experience. They've been knocking on the door. They've played in big games. It feels like they've always been ready for a breakthrough, but the Chiefs just stood in the way. Well, the Chiefs aren't in the way anymore.
You don't think the Jaguars are like legit right now? Or?
I do. And you know what else? The Texans are legit too.
Yeah, now that's a scary team.
That defense is tough, and they figured some things out on offense just enough. How they're hot. They've won like 5 in a row. They're right in the mix.
But see, here's the thing, though, too, is you think about, I think the Chargers are really good. What makes the Chargers so good is their defense is so freaking good.
Same thing, right?
But that's what I worry about with the Bills.
What do all these teams in the AFC have in common?
Well, not the Bills, though. I don't think the Bills have a phenomenal defense.
It's not what it has been.
I think they're the ones who give up 30 a game and still
Can they get away with that when it really matters?
The Lions have been trying to pull it off, and they can't.
Why did the Ravens fall off this year?
Yeah, it's that
defense
legendary defense is not
fast.
it. Yeah.
So all these young defenses, the Jags defense, Devin Lloyd featured on that. They're great. The Texans are great. The Broncos are great. The Chargers are great. Who are the weak links? You're right. Whoever wins the AFC North is not going to have a great defense. The Steelers have guys that can play, but they're older. You're right. The defenses are ruling in the but you know why the Patriots lost that game yesterday? Their defense let them down. They couldn't get stops.
Mm-hmm. Hey, do we owe an apology to Phillip Rivers? Old man Rivers?
No, I didn't. I expect him to do exactly what he did yesterday.
Oh, settle down. On Friday, we were making all the old guy jokes.
He threw a touchdown pass. Yeah, of course. He's making the jokes. I didn't expect him to go out there and suck. He didn't suck.
I think it's funny.
He darn near won that game for him.
You forget how
he's so smart. He's such a fiery competitor.
Yeah. He was wild in his career where he would just. And his press conferences are always fun, and I think that there is zero care in the world now, which actually makes it better for him, right?
Yeah.
When they made that 60-yarder yesterday, I was like, we're going to lose. I say we, the Seahawks. And I know you were watching that. Hope you're crossing those fingers that the dadgum Colts are going to win that game, and thank heavens they were able to get the dub on that one. So, man.
Who's going to win the NFC West?
I kind of don't care. I think the Rams are a better team. Like, come on. It's crazy to watch them. It looks like it's a video game.
Right.
The Seahawks are like kind of getting by the seat of their pants. I like what Sam Darnold's doing. What he's doing is phenomenal. But what it's not is it doesn't feel like he's taking so much command of this game that Matthew Stafford is probably – I think Matthew Stafford should win the MVP at this point. If they were to do it right now, he'd be the MVP winner for me. Drake May, don't care. Stafford is old as the hills in quarterback years, and he's
38.
he's smart. He's smart. He just goes, guess what? I know what I got here, and I'm going to get the ball to every one of these dudes.
He's still got a hose. He can
Yes, he still freaking throws the ball, and it's awesome to watch. So there's part of me that goes, oh, boy. Seahawks are going to get into this has first round loss all over it. They're going to be in the wild card and they're going to lose that
first
first
Sam
game.
Darnold history, right?
Yeah.
Can Sam Darnold get over the hump in the playoffs?
They'll go 12 and or no, they have 3 games left. Yeah, I bet they'll win 2 of them. They'll go 12 and or no, they were 11. Yeah. I still think they'll be like 12, 13 wins, 13 and 4,
pull up their schedule real
12
quick.
and 5.
They've got they're home against the Rams, at the Panthers, who were fighting for their playoff lives, and at the 49ers.
Oof.
Yeah, it's hard.
Let's say they win even just one of those.
Go 1 and 2.
They'll be 12 wins. I don't think I think 12 is going to get them in the wild card, right?
I agree.
So they get there, and it has first-round exit written all over it. But you know what it is? Way over the expectations of what Seahawks fans had this year. Way over them. And by the way, they're going to have a guy who's going to be pushing. Because even yesterday, Sam Darnold throws 0 touchdowns, but Smith-Njigba scores, catches, still goes 100. He goes for 113.
Yeah.
He's on pace for that 2,000, right? Still?
Yes, he is. He's got 200 more yards than Puka Nacua, who's in the 1,300 range Crazy, right?
Oof.
So
Crazy.
Seahawks, by the way, really, really, really want to stay where they're at. They got to keep that game lead against the 49ers and finish 5th in the NFC, because the difference between being 5th and 6th is a first-round playoff game at either Tampa Bay or Carolina, or a first-round playoff game against the Eagles.
Hey,
Which would you prefer?
if Jackson Smith-Njigba breaks the record in Game 17, do you respect it? Calvin Johnson got 1968.
Well, people said the same thing about Saquon Barkley last year, and he ended up just sitting it out, right?
Yeah. But I'm just wondering.
Yeah, what's weird, right?
All the good wide receivers in Seahawks history.
A lot of NFL records. So there was, they played 14 games until the late 70s,
crazy.
right?
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. When we do, we've got a Sucks to Be You right on the corner. People who it currently sucks to be. Lots of people, by the way, in the world of sports as it so happens. So stay with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Basking in the sports misfortune of others to help make you feel just a little bit better about yourself. As JJ and Alex present,
Yes, we got beat. We got beat badly.
It Sucks to Be You.
All right, welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Hey, guess what? Before we get to Sucks to Be You, I've got some stuff to give away. You call in right now, 801-575-ZONE, and you give us the Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealer Play of the Weekend, the Chevy Strong Play of the Weekend, as to given out by DJ and PK, which I was dropping off my boys at elementary school today, and I heard it, and I said, oh, yeah, there it is. And it was a big one. It was awesome. It has to do with a local who made an amazing play. And so all you have to do is tell us what that play was, as given out by DJ and PK. You get yourself an Amazon gift card, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663. People who it currently sucks to be. Now, it doesn't suck to be Diego Pavia, who finished, did he end up second?
Yes.
In the,
no, wait.
Or was it third? I think he was second.
Wasn't saying second?
I thought Sand finished. I don't know where Sand finished, but I thought it was Love after that.
Let me get confirmation on that, because
You would think you would know.
I know, right? So I'm a little embarrassed. I can't remember if it was second or third. Okay, so Pavia was second. Jeremiah Love third.
Yeah, but,
Julian Sand fourth.
Right. And
Jacob Rodriguez fifth.
So I read that Rodriguez got more first place votes than Sand, and I thought, well, that's a nice little feather in your cap.
Yeah.
Linebacker getting fifth in Heisman voting, not bad. But Diego Pavia, after the whole thing, now sort of mired his legacy by saying, quote unquote, F the voters.
Yeah.
And then had to apologize later because it's really dumb to say something like that. I was telling Annapolis before this, think about all the players that have been part of the Heisman voting over the years. They might think that in their head, like, man, I should have won this thing. But so many people go to this award ceremony and they're gracious about the fact that they're in New York. They get the invite, finishing second in the Heisman voting, having the amazing career that he did. That's not the last. That's kind of the last thing you want to have. So it sucks to be him this weekend for saying that kind of garbage.
Yeah, it's Diego Pavia's an incredible story. He's the first ever Heisman finalist.
Oh yeah,
from Vanderbilt,
and he finished second.
It's
Hang
incredible.
your hat on it, man.
You're
It's
a great
awesome.
story, dude. But I think his deal is, and I kind of give him a pass here a little bit, is he's just been so overlooked for so many. He played at New Mexico Military Institute. Mm-hmm. He played at New Mexico State.
Mm-hmm. Not
and
New
now
Mexico.
This dude,
he played at the worst New Mexico school.
Right. The other New Mexico school.
Right.
This guy was so close to becoming a Heisman Trophy winner. With that background, I get it. But you and I think there's a lot of athletes that have a hard time with this. Having a chip on your shoulder gets you so far that you don't know how to turn that part of you off.
Sure. No, I get that.
And you get to a point where you've achieved enough where, okay, the act's kind of tired. Like, you have achieved greatness. Like, be confident in that. And I think he let that chip on his shoulder get the best of him this weekend in a moment where it was really appropriate to do that. This is not a competition on the field. This is an award ceremony. And the guy who won it deserved it. And what he did was disrespectful to the guy that won it.
Yeah, well, and then the class that Mendoza showed afterward was
right.
I don't think we would have gotten a gracious speech like that from Diego Pavia. Also sucks to be Cincinnati. Did you see Brendan Sorsby in there at the transfer portal?
Predictable.
Yeah. It did suck to be Chris Jones this weekend and Chiefs fans, but Chris Jones is at the post-game press conference, and he's like, "Hey, we still got fight in us yet, and we still have something to prove, and we could still crawl back into this thing." And then he goes, "Oh, we're out of the playoffs? Okay." And then just 1,000-yard stare, and that was the end of the press conference. Chris Jones. Oh my goodness, Chris Jones didn't know they were out of the playoffs. And I imagine him going through the locker room going, "Heads up, guys, we got this. We're gonna do this." And they're all looking at him going, "What is Chris Jones' problem, man? Why does he have to do this positivity thing right now? That's not what we want." All right. Let's take a break here. We'll come back. When we return, we have a Jazz game coming up tonight at Delta Center between the Mavericks and the Jazz. High-powered rookies, of course, in focus, but in this Jazz team who've won 9, I think the Mavericks have won 10. So these two teams battling it out tonight. We'll see how this one goes. We'll come back to that and much more next hour. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.